First thing I remember is that I was shaking. Things were gray. And I was shaking and I was being held down. And I felt fingers all over me. And I felt hands on my skin holding me down. And I was shaking. And I couldn't sit up. And I couldn't wake up. I was trapped, and I could make out faces, and something drew closer to me, and as it drew closer, I tried more violently to wake up, and I shook more violently, and I shook, and I shook, and I shook, and then my eyes opened, and I was still inside my body, and I looked up, and I still couldn't sit up, and I couldn't wake up, and I was shaking and shaking, and I felt the beads of sweat pouring out of my forehead, and I couldn't control a muscle in my body. I just shook and shook relentlessly, and I finally I could sit up, and I gasped for air, and I breathed in as deep as I could, and I looked around the room, and I saw that I was just in my room, and I saw that nothing had happened, and I saw that no matter what I thought had happened in that dream, it was a dream, but the force that held me down was real. At that point, it was real. It doesn't matter whether or not the dream was reality, because at that moment, reality was neither here nor there. It didn't matter whether I could understand that perception that it wasn't truly happening, but it didn't affect the fact that the force that held me down was very real. The problem, though, was that after all of that, I lay there in bed, shaking, beads of sweat pouring from my forehead, and I stare upwards into the rafters, into the knots in the eyes of the wood, into the cracks, and every single creak in the house, the dripping of the faucet, the creaks in the floorboards, the cat scratching at the door, the wind blowing outside. It swirled around me, and I felt an immense sense of terror, and I couldn't go back to sleep, no matter how hard I tried. That force was real, and it was there. No matter how hard I fought in the moment, it didn't matter. It was coincidental that I happened to wake from it. But after having been woken from it, I had decided that something had to be done. And this moment wouldn't be the definition of my life. But the question that I have to ask myself is, where do I go from here? Laying in bed shaking, naked and sweating. The swirling sounds around me. I can smell and hear more than ever. My muscles tense. My body grips tightly. And from that, I slowly rose. And I stood up. And I walked to the bedroom door. And I opened it. And as I opened it, I could smell the familiar scent of that dog. That animal back was outside. And this time I went to the back and I went to the door. And I unlocked the door and I opened it up and I looked outside and I saw that large dog. And it turned and it ran. It jumped over the fence and it ran off into the woods. And I could feel it all around me. And I opened the door and I walked slowly towards the tree line. And I kept going. And that was when I woke up from the dream, sweating and shaking again. The question is, what do I do now? Because outside I can feel that beast is approaching again. I can feel that it's walking towards the house, its eyes fixed, one foot in front of the other, slowly, methodically. I think I'm going to go to the back door and open it and wait for it to come.